My wife's infidelity led to divorce and jail time. I was supposed to be at a customer's place that day, but the customer called and canceled. As a result, I was sitting in my cubicle doing paperwork the meeting didn't start until I heard Brad and Bill come in and start chatting about the latest management nonsense before moving on to the inevitable discussion about women. By the time they got to that topic, Brad and Bill were joined by Sam, Al, Josh, and Donnie. I was sitting around the corner, so no one walked by me, and no one knew I was there. They discussed all the girls in the office and what they would like to do with each. Then Josh said, "Suppose you could have one, who would you choose?" I said Mary because of her big boobs. My wife's breasts are so small she barely needs to wear a bra. Ted inquired, "It's easy, but she doesn't work here." "Who's that then?" "Rob's wife. It's a shame you'll never have that opportunity." "Why do you say that she can be had?" I saw it in her eyes. Everyone in the room could do it, probably all at the same time. "You mean all together maybe, or just one-on-one?" "If I brought her to the party with Rob, I could have sex with her. I bet that 15 minutes later, Brad could have sex with her. Before the party is over, I bet she'll have sex with everyone at least once." "You're crazy," Bill said. "No," Sam replied. "She can be had, and Rob knows it. Why else do you think? He's keeping a close eye on her, not letting her out of his sight." It wasn't true. I was so in love with her I couldn't bear to be apart. "I'm telling you, you can have her, Sam. You're full of it." Further conversation was interrupted when Harry, our manager, yelled out, "Hey, it's 8, right? Where are my guys?" The meeting was over and they split up to get on with their daily work. On the way home, I thought about why Sam was so sure he could get to my wife. She was gorgeous, and that fact alone meant she would attract male attention. She really liked to flirt, which meant the boys sniffed her out. I could be wrong, but I didn't think Sam could get her. He just wasn't her type. Still, this was an opportunity for me to try to do something about it. If I played it right, I might even make $1 or $2. It would take some work on my part, but I just might be able to make the situation work for me. The first thing I needed to do was get Jenny involved. Jen Penai had already made dinner. After a quick chat about our days, I asked her, "So, you really want to go to Cancun? How far are you willing to go for that?" "I think I know a way we can get the money without borrowing or going into debt, but it depends on what you're willing to do." "What are you talking about?" I told her what I'd heard and said I wanted to make the most of it. I suggested we invite them all over for a barbecue, and then you could play along and act like you're ready to make love to one or two of them. "You're crazy, Rob. Listen to me, okay? You're gorgeous, and every man you know wants to get in your pants. You flirt a lot, and it makes a couple of them think, I think there's a chance. Why don't we have a barbecue, and you do your best to make them think they can get you? If they can find a way to get me out of the way, I'll schedule a poker game for next week. Bill can start another conversation like the one I overheard this morning. As soon as Sam or anyone else says they're sure they can get you, I'll have Bill bet them that they can't. Bill will bet them that they can't. We'll set it up so that he'll push them to make the bet, and then he'll say, "Okay, I'm so sure you can't do it that I'm willing to bet you $500 that it won't work out. You can try your hand at it." I'll get Rob out of the way so there will be plenty of time to make the attempt. You'll get them ready ahead of time at the "we'll have a barbecue," and they'll be confident they can do it and take the bet during the poker game. We'll run them all out and we'll make $3,000 to pay for the trip to Cancun. What am I supposed to do at the barbecue? I can either continue your usual flirting and go a little further, or do something else. What do you mean go a little further? That would be totally up to you. Anything but making I love them. So you're saying I should let myself be groped, maybe do some heavy kissing and send everyone home with a box of blue balloons. Yeah, that's about right. I want them to leave after the barbecue confident that they can sleep with you if they get the chance. How are you going to get Bill to go for it? I'll offer him $500, which will still leave us with $25,000. I'll pay $500 for the trip. What do you think? I think I can do it. It might even be fun, but you realize there's a downside to it. What do you mean they'll all leave with a case of blue balls, but they'll leave me hotter than a forest fire after they're gone? I'll do my best to put that fire out. You better start taking your vitamins now to prepare for tomorrow at work. I spoke to Bill privately and told him I'd overheard the conversation. I then told him what I wanted to do. He seemed really happy about it. I think very highly of Jenny, and I was pretty annoyed when Sam said it would be easy to sleep with her. Bill had built himself into the project, so all that was left was to get the guys ready. It was too late to have a barbecue the following weekend, so I scheduled a week later and got everyone to come after that. All that was left to do was wait and see. As far as I could tell, the barbecue was a success. Jenny was wearing a pair of Daisy Dukes with her buttocks sticking out from underneath. She was braless under a deep-cut top, and I could see the guys' fascination. I noticed that every now and then Jenny and each of the guys would disappear for 5 or 10 minutes. The next time I saw a guy, he was excited about what was going on. I kind of casually scheduled a poker game for the following Thursday, and all the guys said they'd come. They all went, knowing that Jenny belonged to them if they could get me out of the way. True to her word, Jenny almost made love to me that night. Bill made his move on Monday morning. I made sure I was late for work so they wouldn't have to worry about me eavesdropping on them, but I had a voice-activated tape recorder in my cubicle to catch the conversation. It started with everyone commenting on how hot Jenny looked at the barbecue. Sam said, "I'm telling you guys, she's available if only we can get to her when Rob isn't around." Everyone said they agreed with him, but it was almost impossible to get me out of the way. That's when Bill stepped in. He said, "You don't stand a chance of getting her." He added, "Come on, Bill. Everybody but you knows you can have her." He then asked, "I think you're in love with her or something. You're looking at her through rose-colored glasses. Oh, come on. Take responsibility for what you say. What do you mean about the poker game on Thursday? I'll get Rob out of the way, and you take your best shot. I bet each of you $500 you won't even kiss. You've got $3,000. You can afford to lose. Hey, bets are on the table. You guys are so sure. It's up to you." One by one, the guys said they were in. "Okay," Bill said. "I'll slip Rob something that'll knock him out once he's down. You can all do your best. Just one rule, she's got to be ready. No getting her drunk. No forcing her to do anything." Agreed. "Yes, Bill, we do on game night." I made Jenny dress like hell. She was wearing high heels. She was wearing a mini skirt and a low-cut blouse. We told her she was supposed to go out with her girlfriends while we played cards. But things got derailed at the last minute, and she decided to stay in and act as hostess. We sat down, dealt our cards, and started the game. We were on line 93 when the phone rang, and Jenny picked it up. It was for Rob, it's Sally. Sally was my brother's wife. I got up and went to the phone and came back a couple of minutes later. My brother had been in an accident and had been taken to the hospital. I'll have to leave, but there's no reason to end the game. I kissed Jenny, told her I'd call her from the hospital and left. I drove to Murphy's. I had a beer at the bar and then called home. I told Jenny to tell the guy that I wouldn't be back until morning. Dan has a concussion and is still out of it. Sally should be home with the kids, so I'll have to stay here until he wakes up. The doctors say it could be a few hours. I'll go from here to work in the morning. I told her I loved her and would call her as soon as he woke up. Then I called Sally and thanked her for calling. I told her I owed her a favor. I had a couple more beers and stopped for the night at Motel 6 at 600. I called Jenny and told her Dan was awake and seemed to be okay at work. A smiling Bill came up to me and handed me an envelope. I found an envelope with $3,000 in it. "You didn't take your share out, did you?" "No, Rob. It was good for me to spend the extra on Jenny when you get to Cancun." "Did everything go okay after I left?" "I'm sorry your brother got hurt, but it made things easier for us if we'd used that drug. You'd have been in the house longer, and it would have taken them a bit longer, but they thought they were free with you on. The guys leaving your house last night were a little disappointed. Jenny led them until they were sure they were going to make her pull the trigger, and then she ran them off. It was great to see Sam walk away with her tail between her legs around 10. I told my boss I wasn't feeling well and went home. Jenny would be at work until 5 and wouldn't be back until then. 45. I went down to the basement workshop and opened the toolbox. I'd stashed 5 voice-activated tape recorders in the house in front of the barbecue. I rewound the first one and pressed the replay button. I heard heavy breathing and what could have been a kiss. Then Brad said, "God, you're so hot. Do we have time for quick sex?" "I'm afraid not," Jenny replied. "Maybe at the poker game." The sound of the door opening was heard, and then the tape recorder shut off. A second later, it started up again. "Did anyone see us come in?" Sam answered, "You told me to be careful, so I made sure there was no one around here. We're going to do it here. No, we're not doing it before the poker game. I just want to see what's in store for me." There was the sound of a zipper being unzipped. Jenny said, "Whoa, clean up, baby. We need to get back to the..." Jenny said, "Let's get the party started." Then I heard a door opening and closing. There was nothing else on the tape recorder, so I moved on to the next one. The door opened and closed, and then I heard Al say, "How much time do we have?" "Just long enough for you to show me what to expect from my poker game." I heard clothes falling to the floor, and then they made love. I wish we had more time, but we were rushed. More sounds of clothes, and then the sounds of kissing, followed by Jenny saying, "I don't want to wait until Thursday, baby, but we'll have to." There was nothing else on that tape recorder, and neither was the next one. I already knew what was on the 5th tape, so I put them back in the toolbox, went upstairs and got the tapes from the 4 cameras I'd put in the bedrooms and living room. The tape from the living room showed me. Leaving, Jenny went to the window and pulled back the curtain to look out. After a minute, she turned around and said, "That's it, he's gone." "How do you want to proceed?" Bill asked. "Do you all know what this is about?" Jenny asked. "Yes," everyone replied. "Then give the money to Bill and take the cards off," Jenny said. They played the cards, and Donnie was first. "I want you to lie right here on the poker table. Then we'll carry you into the bedroom." As I watched the tape, I picked up my cell phone and quickly dialed a number. "John, it's Rob. I think we got lucky in a big way. We were only supposed to catch Bill, but we caught Bill and 5 others. I'm watching the tape right now. Keep reading the papers. I'll see you Tuesday." "Okay, I'll see you then." I disconnected and went back to watching the tape. Donnie was next, making love to Jenny. Al was next. "You ready for this?" "Oh God, yeah. I've been looking forward to this so much." No sooner had Al stepped aside than Brad took his place. "Let Brad finish. And then I want to go to the bedroom, where I'll be more comfortable." The recording from the bedroom camera caught them as they walked through the door. Jenny walked over to the dresser, pulled a jelly bean out of the top drawer, and walked over to the bed. She took a jelly bean out of the top drawer and walked over to the bed. She laid Josh on the bed and called out to Bill for the first time. I felt some anger at what was happening. The phone rang and it was me calling Jenny to let her know I was going to stay at the hospital and go to work from there. "He's not coming home, guys. So we have time until you go to work, if you can hold out that long." Morning. Everyone was pretty tired, and everyone but Bill got dressed to leave. "When can we do it again?" Al asked. When everyone had left, Jenny and Bill got into bed. Jenny snuggled up to Bill. I was a big enough cheater for my lover. Oh God, yes. When I told you it was my biggest fantasy, I never thought I'd do it either. But I really want to go to Cancun, and the chance to get money to pay for the trip was too good to pass up. I'm really sorry it's going to be without me, my lover boy. Maybe next time. A few minutes later, they were asleep when Jenny got home from work. I was sitting on the back porch sipping a beer. I was sitting on the back porch drinking a beer when she came out and sat next to me. She leaned over and kissed me. "How was your day?" she asked. "To be honest, it was one of the best. Did something good happen?" "I think so. I think I got rid of some extra baggage and saved a lot of money." "How'd you do that?" "I taped your meeting with the guys last night." I looked at her. "Why are you so pale, my love? Maybe you're surprised that a loving hubby isn't as stupid as you thought." "I'm sure I don't know what you mean." "You don't? Well, let me explain it to you. I found out about you and Bill 3 months ago. I went to a divorce lawyer and got some bad news. It doesn't matter if you're unfaithful, the courts usually side with the woman in this state. That means I'd probably end up paying your attorney's fees and all court costs. I wasn't willing to pay that to get rid of your wife who was having an affair. There was a way around it, though. If I could catch you in the act of committing a crime against me, I could drop you. It would only cost me my attorney's fees and court costs, and I would end up with all the assets. I just couldn't figure out how to do it until you started insisting on going to Cancun. Then I overheard a conversation between Brad Sam, and I was wondering if I could use it to my advantage. I gave you a bit of a hard time about betting with the guys, and you and your lover took the bait. I've been taping all your phone calls for 3 months now, trying to catch you out. I know all about how you and Bill wanted to have sex with the guys at work. I had 4 voice recorders hidden in the house during the barbecue, and I have a tape of the whole last night. But those tapes, as good as they are not the kind that will send you to jail. The tape recorder I had on my phone line will do that. Don't go. I'll be right back." I got up and went into the house to get another beer. I picked up the tape recorder I had left in the study and went back to the porch to sit on the swing. "That's a good story. It's the one that's going to get you and Bill in jail. Listen to it." I did a little editing to remove any hint that I was involved in setting it up. "If you do anything up, I'll hit the repeat button. You've decided to let them all make love to you, not just that. How do we do that? You show everyone your breasts, and that will distract Rob while I add to his drink. The drugs will knock him off his feet, and he won't remember a thing when he wakes up. While he's gone, you can. Do whatever you want. Punch him in the groin with a beer bottle. He won't know anything until he wakes up. I like the beer bottle idea. Maybe after I'm done with all the guys and they leave, we can have a little fun with Rob. I hit the stop button. I scrolled through the tape for my attorney. You and Bill are charged with conspiracy to commit a felony and knowingly using drugs as a criminal act. You know that now, so why are you so quiet? You haven't said a word. You're still stunned to find out the old guys aren't as stupid as you thought. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to listen to you anyway. Anyway, according to John, my lawyer, this tape is enough to send you and Bill to jail. But you and Bill did even better last night. I had 4 cameras hidden in the house that recorded everything you did. I have video of you talking. You know the terms of the deal, right? $500 each. Give your money to Bill, then cut the cards to see who goes first. There's a video of each man handing Bill the money, which makes you guilty of extortion and pandering. You're in a tricky situation. I was looking at her, and she wasn't looking at me. She was looking anywhere but at me, and I was tempted to ask where her contempt for me came from. I suddenly realized I didn't really want to know. Here's the thing. John filed the divorce papers, and I asked for everything. The house, the savings, the certificates of deposit, everything but your car. You and I will go to John's office on Tuesday, and you'll sign the divorce papers, accepting everything. If you don't sign those papers on Tuesday, John will give the records to the ADA, and you and Bill will end up in criminal court and most likely end up in jail. It's up to you, but I need to know about it by 4. I'll be in on Monday night so I can let John know we'll be there on Tuesday if he doesn't hear from me by the time his office closes at 5:00. He'll see the DA first thing. Tuesday morning. Still nothing, Jenny. You want to tell me something? Well, you might want to discuss it with Bill because if you go there, he'll go with you. By the way, my lawyer's card is on the table. I'm suing Bill for alienation of affection. He might want to call John and see if it's possible to settle out of court. I got up and left her sitting there for the rest of the weekend. We tried to stay out of each other's sight, but just before I left for work on Monday, I reminded her of the 4. I was in a good mood when I walked into the morning coffee clutch in Brad's office. Hey guys, I said, I've got something you really need to see. Let's go to the conference room. There's a TV and a VCR. The only one not in attendance was Bill. That's cool, guys. The most disgusting video I've ever seen. You could hear a fly fart, and Jenny filled the screen. It's great, isn't it? You can see everything really clearly on the whole tape. You can even tell who the players are. None of them turned to me until I said I was so pleased with how well the tape turned out that I made several copies and sent them to each of your wives with a special messenger. I made sure they were delivered by 8. I called ahead to let your wives know what time it would be delivered. All of them said they wanted to receive their copies, except for Al's wife, who asked to send her copy to her father, who is a lawyer. Sam and Debbie also asked me to send copies to their offices. Questions? No, I can't believe no one wants to talk about this. Jenny couldn't talk to me either. I'm not going to talk to you. I'm just going to give you a piece of my mind, Donnie muttered. Go ahead. But know one thing in the mood I'm in right now. You're going to have to kill me to keep me from killing you. And that's my promise. Anybody else have anything to say? No. All right, guys, it's 8. Right, it's time to get started. Bill didn't show up for work that day, and I got nothing but angry looks from everyone else at 3:30. Harry called me into his office and asked what was going on. I told him the whole story. Would you be able to work with them? I won't have a problem with them because I got even with them. The question is, can they work with me? I won't tolerate dissension in the office if it interferes with my work. Tell that to them, Harry. Not to me, but I'll tell you this. If you decide to fire me because of what they did, my reaction to it is that you'd better make sure my severance package is very good, or you'll find I have a good lawyer. Are you threatening me, Rob? No, I'm just saying that if you fire me and not them, I'll sue. I'll do my job the same way I always have, and you haven't had any complaints about my work in over a decade. You fired me because those won't work with me, and that's the same as taking their side, and I won't stand for it. Jenny called Bill and said we have to fight. He said you don't have a good enough reason to stand your ground. Okay, Jenny, remember it was your choice. I hung up the phone and called John to let him know Jenny's decision. He said he's going to handle it. Bill came to work the next day and tried to avoid me at 2. I got a call from Jenny at 2 in the afternoon. She said, Rob, I've just been served with divorce papers and a restraining order. I can't come near you or enter our house, so it's my house too. Rob, let me know when you want to come over. If it fits into my schedule, I'll arrange to have a sheriff's deputy there and I'll let you pick up personal items, but only personal items. Why are you being like this? Why are you doing this to me? It's called getting even with Jenny. It's partial payback for what you and Bill did to me behind my back." The next day at 10, 2 sheriff's deputies showed up at the office and took Bill into custody when they took him out in handcuffs. His face was pale. I called John to let him know, and he told me that things don't usually happen this quickly. But he told the judge that since Bill worked at the same place I did, he was concerned for my safety, which must have made things more urgent. At 4 p.m. I received a call from Judy, Jenny's sister. "I just got a call from Jenny. She's in jail." "What's going on?" "Rob, why is she calling me and not you? I can tell you that Judy is what I'm hearing. I hope they keep her in there for a couple more years. She called you because she knew I'd hang up on her for cheating on me. Oh my God. I warned her. But she wouldn't listen. You knew everyone in the family, but you thank you for letting me know. What do you expect? Rob, she's my sister. Take care of yourself." Judy and I hung up the phone. The next day, I had just gotten back from lunch when I got a call from Jason Milner. He said he was my wife's court-appointed attorney. She just had a bail hearing, and bail was set at $35. She needs $3,000, $500 for a bail bondsman, and he wants you to put up your house as collateral, given the circumstances that landed her in jail. Mr. Milner, I'd say you have a better chance of winning the lottery than ever. The house is half hers, sir. That's fine. She can put up her half, the guarantor. I don't think that's a good idea. I'm counting on you not to help her at all. Mr. Milner, I gave her a chance to walk away from this mess, but she let her boyfriend talk her out of it. She'd like to see you. I can do that, seeing her in an orange jumpsuit. I'm glad she has a PE on the back. Could you tell me what visiting hours are? I was sitting on the other side of the screen when she was admitted. She was in an orange jumpsuit with chains around her ankles and handcuffed. I asked about it later and found out that it didn't matter who you were or what you were wearing. Standard operating procedure was to move all prisoners in handcuffs and ankle chains. They removed her handcuffs but left the leg chains on and brought her over to the seat across from me. She sat down, looked at me, and cried, "Get me out of here, Rob. Please. Jenny, I gave you a choice that would have kept you from this, but you chose to obey your lover instead of me. I don't know if he seduced you or if you dragged him into your affair, but the bottom line is that he cost you your marriage, and now he's costing you your freedom. You could have signed the papers John had prepared and walked away, but you let Bill talk you out of it to get Bill to bail you out somehow when you're found guilty, which John says is inevitable. I'll still get the divorce and everything I asked for, so I'm kinda glad it's happening. I like seeing you in chains, Jenny. You gave up a good marriage for the privilege of being here, so you should at least try to enjoy it." I stood up and walked out of the visiting room when she screamed, "Please, Rob, please don't leave me here." There was a young man standing. I saw him in the hallway with a briefcase. He came over and introduced himself as Jason Milner. "We need to talk before things get out of hand." "Sure. I spoke to your wife and Mr. Bolton. They told me this whole thing was your idea. I'm afraid I'm going to have to. Let's talk about this in court. Why don't we see if we can settle this case without a trial? How long have you been doing this, Mr. Milner?" 5 years. And in all that time, you never realized that your clients will say anything they think might help their chances? I have audio and video evidence. Mr. Milner, I have video evidence of their conspiracy against me. What do they have to back up their claims? I gave them both a chance to keep this civil suit alive, but they both chose to ignore it. I'll see you in court. Bill rented out his house and put up the deposit, but when Jenny found out he was out, and she wasn't going to be out, she was furious. She turned to Bill and told him it was his idea. In exchange for a plea bargain, she agreed to testify against him. Her testimony, backed up by the tapes, was enough. The trial lasted less than 24 hours, and the jury was out for Jenny pleaded guilty as part of the plea bargain and was sentenced to 1 year, with credit for time served, 4 months probation, and 500 hours of community service for the remainder. Bill pleaded not guilty and fought it all the way through, and he got 3 years. I spend most of my days hoping to hear that some huge dude named Bubba bend him in the shower. When he gets out, he's still got my alienation of affection lawsuit waiting for him. John said we could go on even with Bill in jail, but it might end too quickly. The longer I can keep up the pressure, the happier I'll be. Jenny was found guilty, so I got a divorce. I don't know where she is or what she's doing. I know she lost her job while she was in prison. I see her sister Judy from time to time, but we don't speak. Jenny isn't mentioned in the Five Guys game. All of them got divorced within 6 months, and their wives took them to the cleaners. 2 of them were fired within 6 months, 2 others quit within the next year. And Sam made the mistake of waiting for me in the parking lot the day he quit. It cost him. He got a broken nose, 2 broken ribs, and 5 missing teeth. I was in pain for a couple more days after that, but as weird as it sounds, it was a good kind of pain. It was satisfying. Donnie still works with me, and we're polite when necessary and avoid each other whenever possible. The money that paid for my 2 weeks in Cancun while Jenny was in jail was the biggest surprise in this whole case. I got away with it, as Milner said I would. I set it up, but I had no idea it would turn out as well as it did. All I wanted was a divorce. What can I say? Sometimes you just get lucky, but it does feel good. I remembered that old TV show, The A-Team, and what the Colonel, played by George Peppard, used to say, "I love it when a plan comes together." Thanks for watching, and please subscribe to my channel.